Ooh.
I'm gonna tell y'all a little story about two brothers born, yeah. Woman blessed was strong, before one. Okay. Now I was born on Friday 13th, the Saturday son. My daddy called me black sheep, he said, "You your mama's son." His mama said, "Don't you worry, baby boy, your time will come, yeah."
They can't hear that, do they?
What's up, brother? They can hear you. We're live. They can hear you. We're live. They can.
I can't hear you.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Huh?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. You could be a little bit louder in my phones.
Okay, 1 second. Let me see. Mic volume. What about now?
That's good.
All right, cool. All right, everybody. Welcome to Town Talk Tuesday. We could have had Skip and Stunt here today with us, but we got Leon Hendrix in town taking over for the day. How you doing, Leon?
I'm doing good. Living up here in Seattle. Just at my kids, grandkids, great grandkids. You know, up here in Seattle where music was born and still lives.
So today we're going to talk about early Seattle this week on Town Talk Tuesdays. And so first, I want to talk about some of the old clubs that you've been to, Jimmy played in back in the day. Do you remember any of those clubs?
Of course, my father told Jimmy, he said, "You're in charge. Don't let nothing happen to him. You take him everywhere you go." So I end up going to like Washington Hall where he played with the Rockin' Kings. And I'll think of his name later. But anyway, at Washington Hall, it was a club for, rhythm and blues. And the Rockin' Kings played there often. And then Yesler Terrace Field House, where me and my mom actually used to stay up in Yesler Terrace.
So it was above the club itself?
No, it was a field house,
Okay. Well, describe what a field house was.
A field house. Well, in the old days, they didn't have many places to play. And so the community got together and said we should have music on the weekends in the field house. In projects, they always have a little place, where people get together and, have meetings and stuff like that.
Which of those clubs did Jimmy perform in?
What'd you say?
Which of the clubs did Jimmy perform in?
We had the Black and Tan Club, the 410 Supper Club, Um, oh wow, Spanish Castle out by Fort Lewis. Um, that's where he wrote that song. Uh, Spanish Castle Magic. You know, I used
Speak
to
about his music and
yeah, I
some of
used
the
to
lyrics.
be up under the stage because Jimmy had to take me way out there with him, and it took about a half day to get there. You know, and so I slept under the stage sometimes, and they fed me rice and beans. I was a happy little camper. I thought that was what life was all about. On the road playing music.
So you wanted to talk about some of Jimmy's music and the lyrics. What songs that he wrote stand out to you?
Well, Jimmy was like more than a musician. Uh, he seemed to have this certain knowledge about stuff, and we used to talk about uh, hearing colors and seeing music and listening to the universe because it's like making a symphony out there as we speak right now.
Talk
And
about that formula.
it E equals MC squared. That's the formula me and Jimmy came up with. In other words, energy equals music and color squared, dynamic. Jimmy said sound was very important to the earth, and that one of the most important powers that we have. It can tear down buildings. It can make the people move. Like in the '60s, they wrote the music that actually moved the people towards peace and love instead of war. But the music was the force behind that, and we need to do that again. So I think I'm gonna form this band called the Music Militia, so we can use our music to fight this battle for the human beings. You know,
So today we're talking about early Seattle. What do you remember about early Seattle? And how did you and Jimmy stay busy when you were growing up?
okay, well, after my father got separated from our mom, uh, we had this aunt. Her name was Aunt Pearl, and she worked for the YMCA. And so to keep me and Jimmy busy, she would always have these activities for us. Like uh, Jimmy was in the Boy Scouts, I was in the Cub Scouts. We met at the YMCA every Thursday, and then she got us on the football team. Well, Jimmy was Little League, and I was Pee Wee, but we were always together. And then baseball team at Garfield High School, we were called the Rockets, and Jimmy was Little League, and I was Pee Wee League, and that's how we kept busy. Jimmy was like into sports, and so that's how that went.
How was it growing up? Did you have a lot of other friends in the neighborhood?
Uh, Say again, son.
Did you guys have a lot of friends growing up?
Well, yeah, Jimmy had his friends from high school and his band members, and I just went along with him all the time. But then I remember these parents were telling their kids, "Don't be playing with them Hendrix boys, because they're strange." Because Jimmy be talking about outer space and flying saucers and spiritual stuff. And they thought that me and him were kind of strange. So they were like forbidden to play with us.
And then having that like mixed appearance, it kind of made it hard too, right?
Uh, well, we live in a neighborhood where, the Jews and blacks were put together. And we had this dynamic there. We had the torchlight parade and, all kind of things. But when my father had to work and Mom wasn't around, the neighborhood women kind of took care of us, fed us, you know, looked out for us, you know.
Yeah. So getting back to your brother's music, what songs that he wrote stand out to you, and talk about the lyric.
Okay, well, I never seen Jimmy read a book, but he seemed to have this knowledge about, when the Mayan calendar would end and the Aquarian age would come, and these new talents and gifts would be rained down on his people, like his musicians and his artists and the craftswomen and women. These are all important. We keep the earth plan moving, keep it in balance. There's so much bad shit going on, you know. So we just have to write the music to move the people.
What are some of your favorite songs by Jimmy?
Well, I used to be really strange because he would tell me these stories, like in his lyrics, he said he had lived before the days of ice and came back and found the earth, pretty bad off. Those aren't the exact lyrics. I'm not supposed to repeat those because I'm under a court order from my adopted sister to not mention his name on any broadcast or anything. But I'm doing it anyway because I have to tell my story. Sorry, sis.
What other songs stand out to you?
And then also, he kind of predicted his next experience. He said that he was going to be a merman and live underwater from the song 1983, Away from Land So Battered and Torn. So he was saying to me that he had lived several times so far.
What do you think he meant by that?
That once you're in the circle of life, it's hard to get out. You just move on to another existence. Life is moving forward all the time. We don't go backwards. In other words. More questions, grandson?
Well, you were supposed to talk about this song. You kind of got off it. You want to talk about the lyrics. You talked about the universe and living beyond.
Well, the universe is a symphony in itself. And it vibrates in a deep E or something. I don't know. It all depends on how you feel or how you hear what note or saying makes you vibrate the best. And he also told me that each note has a color associated to it and a shape,
Color
So that's where that formula came out.
The E equals MC squared.
Yeah.
Music and color.
Jimmy was like, wow. He was like always talking about other galaxies and star systems, and it's just like he was just visiting here, before I went on to somewhere else, like we all are destined to do.
Someone commented that Jimmy's brother can't use his own name. Yeah, it's just change the situation.
I didn't get that.
Someone said that they commented.
Oh.
Look at the screen.
Jimmy's brother can't use his name? Oh, yeah, that's right. My sister sued me. I don't know, she's got all the money and all Jimmy's music and stuff like that. Why didn't she leave the Hendrix family alone? I have a right to tell my story, and I'm going to tell it because evidently she's been telling a story about me that I'm on drugs, bad alcoholic, and all this stuff. But I'm here to tell you now, I haven't done drugs in 30, 35 years. I haven't had a drink in 3 years, I smoke a lot of weed though,
Yeah.
but I learned to
We love
smoke
the
weed
cannabis
with
in
Jimmy
Washington.
when I was on tour with him. And I don't want to mention some of the superstars that at the Rainbow in LA, we were, doing the white powder. So those are things that I have grown. And, I struggled with it a little bit, but here I am right now. I'm good.
Better than ever. Better.
Making a new
About-
album, got new music coming out, going on tour again. I'm having a ball. Thank you, Jimmy.
Always.
Yeah.
So growing up in Seattle, you guys had friends. You watched Jimmy perform places. What do you think has changed about Seattle now? You were growing up.
Well, Seattle was kind of mellow, at the time. In the 50s, we didn't have television yet. Wow. The things I've seen, you know. We only had this one big radio, and my aunt Ernestine, she had this record player, and she had these records, all these old blues records. She even had an album that was bigger than a 33. It was like somebody knows out there, and it was this thick. And we put our heads to the speaker, and we'd hear that music over and over. Robert Johnson, all the great blues artists, Howlin' Wolf, everybody,
What are some of the things you think inspired Jimmy's songs?
His real life experiences. Well, experiences.
Yeah. Speaking of the experience.
Yeah, a good musician and a writer writes about their daily life and stuff like that, things that happen to them, and the things they see, and, imagination, that's God's gift to us, actually.
Yeah, speaking of Seattle and experience, they used to have the Experience Music Project, the EMP. They just changed their name to the Mopop Museum. How do you feel about that?
Well, Paul Allen really loved Jimmy, and he built that museum especially for Jimmy, and wanted to call it the Jimi Hendrix Memorial Museum or something like that. But then my sister, who had, control over my father, was the power of attorney, denied the request for them to use Jimi Hendrix on the museum that was built especially for him. She's a little twisted. She's always doing something off the wall.
Yeah, that's pretty negative. But yeah, at least it used to be called Experience Music Project, but they changed the name from that because everyone knows about the experience and where that was inspired from.
Of course,
So talk about your new band.
Oh, wow. Well, actually, I'm playing with a group of young kids in LA. They're called Paradise Drive, and they're just young little kids with the gift of music. They play every instrument. They sing, and they're actually really good. And then I'm also playing with. I'm in the studio with Rex Kudo. He did. Help me, son.
I don't know. Who is that?
Heavy and Post Malone, and we're doing this big project. This post-COVID music. We've all been, locked up, locked in. Playing music night and day. And we're gonna break out. With the music militia. Post-COVID.
Yeah, I know a lot of musicians
New era.
in the world are just waiting to perform again and get back on tour. A lot of people have not been able to perform with the pandemic. I know they just can't wait.
I know we're gonna break out strong and bad. We're gonna start marching again in the streets, playing in the park. You know,
Yeah.
girls gonna have flower in their hair again. You know, they're gonna be peace and love. You know,
Back
flower
in the
power.
70s.
You know, hey, what happened to the summer of love? We need to bring that back.
What do you think it would take to bring that back?
The music has to be written to move the people, like they did in the '60s. That was the best music ever written. You know.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we can get back to that. We're gonna try to bring that 70s way on this Town Talk channel and keep it going.
Well, you got the '60s. I'm from the '60s. I was an old hippie. My kids were yippies. Their kids were yuppies. And now we got these millennials. And they're all in my tree. You know, I'm dealing with 3 generations of Hendrixes, you know, and I love it. They're so talented now. I'm proud to come to Seattle and see my grandnephews and cousins and grandsons, great grandsons doing all this good work, you know.
Amazing. So I know you're involved with another band. Bassett.
Oh, yeah. I'm playing with everybody. Shoot,
Yeah.
man.
Talk about the Bassett group.
Because in LA, you got everybody down in LA right now from Seattle, from all the great bands. They're playing down there for free, you know. And so I go, hey, Roxy Theater, you know, can I get my gig back? They said, oh no, we got guys from Soundgarden, Pearl Jam, everybody down here playing for free because everybody wants to play, you know. So I love it though. Music should be free anyway.
Yeah, it definitely should be. What do you like to play when you're in LA? Or is there any venues down there you play at?
Any clubs down there?
Yeah, where have you played down there?
I played at all of them. The Mint, the Roxy, the Key Club, BB King's, on every corner. Sometimes we play on the boardwalk in Venice and make more money in tips than we do at the clubs.
Wow.
Yeah.
You mentioned Paul Allen. Describe your guys' relationship and how you guys knew each other.
Well, he helped my father out a lot, but we kind of fell apart because he thought I was associated with Janie, you know, my adopted sister, but I wasn't. But anyway, we both moved on, and like he went wireless on us, like Jimmy, and you know, I'm reading my stuff right now. I'm trying to remember. Anyway.
But yeah, I wanted to talk about you're a very good chess player. So what do you remember about playing back in the day, and who did you used to play again? For chess.
Well, I happened to learn to play chess in the Army. And I just became good at it. I didn't, you know, I wish I was a better guitar player than a chess player because I spend more time messing around with them chess pieces because life is just like chess, you know.
How so?
Yeah, because you make bad moves sometimes and you lose your queen, you know.
Yeah, it's tough to lose your queen. It's game over at that point.
No, it's not. You don't need the queen all the time. In fact, you can march down with a pawn and get another woman, you know.
Yeah. So the song by Jimi Hendrix, Castles Made of Sand, what do you think inspired that song?
That's the story of our family, you know.
How so?
The first verse, my father and my mama arguing. It's raining. Me and Jimmy are looking out the window, watching my mom get into a cab and leave. And my dad's crying. The second verse is about me. I'm the little Indian boy who played War Games in the Woods with his Indian friends. Because me and Jimmy played at Leshai Park a lot with our friends, cowboys and Indians and, stuff like that. And then the verse says that before I was 10, a surprise attack. That's when the welfare people came and took me away from my family. And the last verse is about my mom because I remember my mom was kind of ill, and we went to the hospital to see her, me and Jimmy and my dad. And she was coming down the hallway in this wheelchair, and she was like glowing, stuff like that. And that was the last time me and Jimmy seen her on this side. And so he wrote that verse about her in the wheelchair getting on the ship. I'm not saying the lyrics right, you guys out there. I know I'm going to get some Instagram comments that Leon, you missed the lyrics on that. Anyway, this is a live show, and what's happening is what's going to happen today.
Yeah. So speaking of LA, the Rams made it to the Super Bowl. Who do you got winning? Cincinnati or LA?
All my teams that I thought were going to win didn't win, so I'm just going to leave it up to fate, and watch a good game.
Well, I don't want to see the Rams, which are in the Seahawks division, win, so I'm going with Cincinnati Bengals.
I want the Bengals for the reason they haven't been there in a long time.
Yeah, they haven't been in the playoffs in 30 years, and now they already won a couple games.
That's right.
What other songs by Jimmy do you think were inspired by the family, or even you?
Something that's a hard question because his music is so prevalent, and the lyrics are so hidden by the strong music. Jimmy was like preaching in the background about stuff.
We got a comment from the viewers.
Okay.
Exiles 800 says, Leon, what do you think of your brother's passing and the controversy around it?
Well, for one thing, he did not die of a drug overdose. And I think the FBI and the CIA had something to do with it because they were following him around because he was a black man with power in the white world, and they put pressure on the FBI to try to shut him down. They tried to shut the whole 60s down. They tried to kill peace and love, but it's coming back. Peace and love is not dead. We just need more participants.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were on him.
Whoever's watching, feel free to comment more questions. I'm trying to get them answered.
Okay. Am I supposed to be reading them on here? I'm sorry, everybody out there. Me and my grandson are just doing this, and we're having fun with it. And this is real stuff right here.
Yeah. So over here, Khalil Davis says, my dude's Leroy Hendrix family.
Mm-hmm. Say again?
Just read it right here. Khalil Davis in the comments says, my dude's Leroy and Hendrix family. He's just shouting us out. It's not really.
I can't even see that far, bro.
Yeah.
It's okay though.
But yeah, speaking of Seattle, the Seahawks are in the playoff. Do you enjoy Seattle?
I love Seattle. Shit, I live in LA, but I can't wait to come home and see some green trees and smell some rain. Love
it out here in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah. there's a lot of music up here. You know, I can feel it. You know, when I hit that Washington border and come to start on my way to Seattle, it seems like the vibes get better because uh, just like the power grids and the ley lines around the earth, we got the same thing. We got a ley line going through Seattle to LA to Kansas City to Chicago to Nashville to Memphis and play some blues in New Orleans.
Hendrix Music Academy says, "You sound good, Dad."
Ah, my girl. I'm so proud of her. Hi, Tina.
Yeah, she just finished up with the Hendrix Music Academy classes today.
I know she's busy.
I wanted you to discuss the Voodoo Child lyric. What do those mean to you?
But, our mother was sort of like a Cajun gypsy queen. And, voodoo's not a bad word, Uh, the white people kind of made voodoo sound dark and bad. But actually, voodoo means doctor. And, okay, to get back to the question, okay. I could read on the thing you gave me, Voodoo Child. Well, it's hard to comment on Jimmy's things, like Voodoo Child. He's talking about magic and mystery and power of the music, Like my mother, when she was born, Grandma said that she had a dream to call her Lucille because she would bring light to the world. And Jimmy came and there was light. Lucille means light. That's my mama. What's up, mama? She wireless, but I can feel her. Jimmy too.
Amazing. Let's talk about some of the real Hendrix history.
Okay. Well, Grandma was born in Georgia. She was a slave. Captain Hendrix from Holland got money from England to sell to America, and he bought some land, but he had to marry one of the chief's daughters from the Cherokee. And so he was able to buy some land, and that's how we kind of came about. Captain Hendrix, Grandma born a slave, coming on the Trail of Tears westward, picking up some more Indians and some more people, and they ended up in Texarkana, on the way to Seattle.
Wow. So Exiles 800 also says, Voodoo, Jimmy took the Mississippi Delta to outer space in the North Bend, and all time raps and bends. Wow.
Wow.
And Jimmy was inspirational. I used to love going to the laser shows down at the Seattle Science Center, and they do Jimi Hendrix performances with the lasers in there. Super good light show. It's pretty trippy.
Well, I feel like I got a helmet on. I know I used to watch those light shows down there too. We came so far now. I close my eyes and get a light show now. Listen to some music, hear that music the universe is making right now, in concert tonight. Listen.
Well, yeah. I think we had a good half hour with the fans. Episode 3, Town Talk Tuesday. We missed Skip and Stunt, but we might have them on tomorrow for Leon's episode. So tune in tomorrow, y'all. Have a better scheduled out live stream. We will see y'all.
Am I still on?
You're still on for now, but say some closing word.
Okay. Goodbye, everybody. See you tomorrow. Hopefully, we'll talk about more stuff. I'll send some more questions in. And some of your music, I play it up. I want new artists, new creations.
Yeah, we'll be live tomorrow on the channel at 6 p.m. reviewing songs and talking with Skip and Stunt. All right, y'all. Town Talk out.